Hey guys, Joe Walker here. What the flipping hell is going on? In today's video, I'm going to learn how to nose stall. What is a nose stall? A nose stall is basically where you come up the transition in your regular stance, you press down on the nose, you lock onto the coping like so, and then you just come back into the transition. Two things really that I'm thinking are going to be a little bit of a challenge with this one. Number one is timing that lock in right. Obviously, if I'm going too fast, I could overshoot it and go out that way. If I'm too slow, I could undercut it and maybe just sort of like slide down the ramp like that. The other one is when I have successfully locked in, it's coming back into the transition. So it is effectively a switch drop-in or something similar to it. So once you're locked in like that, then you got to drop back in. Just having the confidence to slam that foot down that doesn't necessarily feel natural to do so and come back in. So the two things that I'm thinking are going to be stumbling blocks. This one, locking in, that's all skill. The other one, I think, is more of a battle with commitment. Before we get into learning the nose stall, I'm just going to have a quick warm up and then we're going to try and tackle it. There we go guys, those are the highlights from my quick 10-minute warm-up. Now, the first thing I want to practice is actually dropping in, but having my foot close to the nose, because I want my feet positioned how I'll need them to be when I lock into the nose stall. So I'm just going to try and drop in with my front foot firmly on the nose, see how that goes, see how that feels, and then we'll get into some nose stalls. Right guys, there we go. That's 3 drop-ins with my front foot firmly on the nose. That doesn't feel as bad as I maybe thought it was going to be. It feels a little bit weird. I feel like I have to push down more with the front foot to complete the drop-in, but that feels okay. So the next step, we're going to really break this up. I'm going to try and just get locked into a nose stall, and then we'll kind of just see what happens. I want to get just comfortable getting locked into the nose stall before I commit to coming back into the transition, really nicely break it down and build it up. So let's try and lock into a nose stall. There we go guys, managed to lock in a bunch of times. Managed to do like a nose stall, body revert, drop back in. That's kind of like the most basic variation of the nose stall because nothing feels unfamiliar other than locking in. So that's, in my opinion, a trick. I'm gonna try and get like a few more of those. When I'm actually gonna go for the nose stall, what I'm thinking already is I don't wanna linger up there too much. This has gotta be like a nose tap back in, just as little thought when I'm up on the coping stalled as possible before I come back in or commit to coming back in. It's just got to be get comfortable with the nose stall, yes, get comfortable with the motion, yes, but it's got to be like up down, just really quick. So gonna try and get a few more of those, the stall with the body revert down, and then we'll just try and do some nose stalls. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we get one today. Right guys, I got one fairly clean nose stall, do the body revert, drop back in. I don't want to get too caught up on that trick because I think it's feeling a little bit different to what the nose stall actually will, but it is nice to be getting comfortable with locking into the nose stall. What I'm already noticing is that my body weight, my body distribution, should I say, is way too far towards the nose. Without that fence, I'd be a dead man. The amount of times I got up there, grabbed onto that fence, I can't even count. So I'm just going to try and get an actual no stall now. There we go, guys. I successfully landed no stall, came up the transition, locked into the stall, and went back into the transition and rolled away. I do want to get two, but I did just want to have a quick chat for those of you who are also learning a no stall or thinking to learn a no stall. There are two crucial things which I feel will seriously help you, so hear me here if you are learning the no stall. The first one is, just to repeat myself from earlier, it's don't get hung up in the stall. Just make sure it's nice and quick and fluid and you're going back into the transition. At all times you need to stay parallel with your board. You can't be turning your shoulders front side, you can't be turning your shoulders back into the transition. You have to stay like rigid, parallel to the board, just shoulders this way, board this way. Can't stress that enough. I was moving my shoulders sort of forwards at first and it was like throwing me forwards, and then I thought like maybe if I sort of like lean back a bit, that might like encourage me to go back into the transition, but then I wasn't locking in properly. So everything just needs to stay sort of central to the board and just parallel with that board. And if you've got that in mind, a little bit of commitment, and you've got the accuracy of locking into the stall, you'll have no problems learning the no stall. I just wanted to get a few more in the bag so I know that I can actually do the trick, and then we'll call it a day there. Guys, whew, the no stall. So I always try and do, when I'm learning a new trick, 5 to keep it alive, and I ended up doing maybe like 9 or 10 there. I did 6 in a row, so like 6 back to back, not bailing one in between attempts. That's such a long way around of saying that I did 6 in a row. So it ended up being like 9 or 10. I lost count, but that feels so good to get that. Once you've got that confidence to slam your back foot back onto your tail and basically do a switch drop in, that trick's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So no stall, so psyched about that. That's one of the more complex tricks that I know on transition. I'd say that was equal the battle to learning the feeble to fakie, just something that feels really unnatural and uncomfortable when you're coming back into the transition. So I'm really happy to have got a no stall, and also the no stall like body revert thing, happy to have landed that as well. So I guess like nearly sort of 2 tricks for this video. The evolution of this trick next is to get into the no stall and then like revert out, like revert into the transition. I've heard some people say that that's actually easier than a no stall because it feels a lot more comfortable coming back in because you're facing the way in. But I've never like reverted down transition, so that'll be something to conquer when we come to that. That might be next week's battle, who knows. So yeah, no stall, absolutely psyched to get that. 3 things to note, 2 of them we've already discussed. So number 1 is don't get too hung up on the stall. Do a nice comfortable stall, don't hang around, get back into the transition. Number 2, keep the body parallel with the board. Don't look forwards or look backwards, just you want to be sideways, parallel with your skateboard. And then number 3, bend your knees. Bend your knees. I tend to have stick legs and they just didn't do me any good here. When I started to bend as low as I can possibly go, this trick became a lot easier. Bend your knees. Just overdo it. Bend your knees dropping in, just keep them really just crazy bent. You lower your center of gravity when your knees are bent, so it's a lot harder to fall off and a lot easier to go back to the ground with your wheels when you're already closer to the ground. That's how your brain will perceive it. So bend your knees on this one and you'll have no problems learning the nose stall. Which tricks are you guys working on? Are any of you working on the nose stall? Please do leave it down in the comments below. If you have any questions after watching this video with how to nose stall, is there anything you're struggling with in particular? I feel I would be comfortable instructing someone how to do this trick now, even though I've only done it a handful of times, because it's one of those, like with a lot of transition tricks, once you figure it out, the steps, the process, and you get over the commitment, it's pretty straightforward stuff. So any questions you have, leave it down there. As always, I want to say a huge thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.